Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden and welcome back to day 8 of my 30-day garden transformation challenge. As always, let's get this day started with my daily routine. I started my day off with watering my plant stash, then I moved up to the orchard garden and pulled that one weed that I missed yesterday. For deadheading today, I went to the back garden and worked on my climbing roses in my soon-to-be rose allée. I planted this rose allée, I think, earlier this season in January, and my goal is to have all these climbing roses climb up these posts and create kind of a pathway, an archway that I can walk through full of roses. So I went through each one, deadheaded them, cleaned them up because I am working out here today on my focus garden task and I'm going to be training these roses. I stayed on with my rose allée for fertilizing and I fertilized all these roses with the Van Winden's magic rose mix. I'll put the recipe on the screen right here. I've already fertilized these twice this year, so this is my third fertilizing of the year. And they're doing great. These roses are growing so fast, especially the iceberg roses. They are just going nuts. All right, you guys, so I just finished up with my daily routine, except for planting a plant. Haven't planted a plant yet. I am pre-soaking a hole over by the chicken coop so that I can plant something in the shade over there, but I will do that last. I just want to warn you guys today, my brain isn't functioning properly this morning. I have tried to film this clip like 5 times already, and I'm just kind of at a loss for words this morning. So I got another cup of coffee to hopefully get my brain working a little bit more, but please excuse me if I don't make sense when I'm talking right now. So I spent most of my daily garden routine back here in the back garden. I'm working on my rose allée today, and that's my focus garden task because I want to work on training these roses because you can see my iceberg roses are just going nuts. And a couple of the other climbing roses that I have, they have really long canes that are ready to get trained. So I have these posts that have my solar lights from HoseLink hanging on them. And then eventually I am going to be getting peaks on these on wood posts, and the peaks are going to mimic the peak of my greenhouse. But not yet because money, you know, you know how it is, right? So eventually that is the plan, but we're just not quite there yet. But I definitely want to work on these today. So for deadheading, of course, I deadheaded these climbers. They're all doing really, really great. I actually fertilized these climbers as well with the Van Winden's magic mix. It's the same stuff that I did in the Eden climbers in the front yard. And then after I fertilized my roses, I actually wanted to address a question that a lot of people had about how I watered the roses, because I watered the fertilizer in. And in the video when I was fertilizing my Eden climbers, I sprayed my roses overhead, and I got a couple questions of people asking because a lot, the normal recommendation for roses is to not overhead water. Sandy asked, Janie, I'm confused. I thought if we watered overhead and got our roses or whatever plant, it could get powdery mildew. And Sandy is right in certain areas. So when I always think it's important to think about where you live, and that's why I think the Master Gardeners program is great, because Master Gardeners is very, very local and they will give you local advice. So normally, like if you live in an area that has more humidity than we do, overhead watering is pretty much a no-no. I think throughout the garden, right? Because powdery mildew or black spot on your roses is definitely an issue. For us though, it's kind of the opposite, because here in Northern California, we are so hot and we are so dry, and we do get wind that we actually get the opposite issue. We actually get bugs that will come and like those conditions. So plants actually like it with a little bit of overhead watering. I will actually go through my garden and overhead water a couple times throughout the season just to kind of get all the dust off, get some water to the foliage, knock any pests off or anything like that. And that's the same thing for roses. And Linda Knowles, the master rosarian that has all those beautiful roses, she said the same thing. She likes overhead watering, not every day, like on drip. For normal irrigation, she hooks her roses up to drip, but every once in a while she will come out and she will overhead water her roses, and they really, really like it, and it keeps them healthy and it keeps the bugs away. So I should put like a disclaimer when I show a video of me overhead watering my roses. So a lot of you who live in more humid climates don't do what I do. Keep the water off of the roses, but if you live in hot, dry climates, it might be a really good thing for your plants. And I would say the best way to know exactly what condition you're in is to contact your local master gardeners, or even go to your local garden center and ask them. So like I said, for my focus garden task, I want to work on training these roses up the posts over here. And I've been kind of going back and forth and debating. I've been thinking about it a lot, how I want to train these roses. And when I went with my family to the San Francisco Botanical Gardens, really beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And they had a bunch of posts throughout their gardens. And on these posts, what they had is they had eye hooks, kind of like this guy, but smaller. And they had 4 eye hooks all around their post, just like that. And then what they did is they took a loop of wire and put it through the eye hooks. And that's how they would train their climbers up these posts. That's how they did it a whole bunch of times, and that's how they trained everything. So when I saw that, I thought, oh, genius. That's absolutely genius. That's a great way to get things climbing up posts without it being too tight to the post and all that kind of stuff. So that has been my plan for these climbing roses. And I actually bought these eye hooks off of Amazon. There's some sun. Eye hooks off of Amazon. And I thought I got the right size, but I feel like these are giant. I feel like these are way too big. And if I put 4 of these in on one level of this post, I feel like it's going to break the post or really weaken it or something like that. So I'm kind of going back and forth, and I think I need to find smaller ones of these. And I got these because they were black, obviously, and I thought that would blend in really, really well. But now this morning, I'm thinking I just don't want to do this technique. I think what I'm going to do is, instead of doing this technique, I'm just going to use twine and tie it up the post. Since it's really the first year that these roses are growing, most of them are pretty small. Obviously, the biggest ones are the icebergs because they go crazy. But this one right here, this is polka. Isn't that gorgeous? But you can see it's only 2 feet tall, maybe. This one is New Dawn, a nice blush pink. Look at that. And then this one right here is the Impressionist. And so I just don't have a ton to start training right now. And I think I'll work on finding smaller eye hooks for these posts for like long-term training. But I really want to get these started training, because you can see I've got canes kind of sticking out everywhere. I've got this cane sticking out over there, this cane sticking out over here. So I really want to start training it up the post. So I think I'm just going to go the easy route and use twine and kind of hook them onto the post and guide them up, and see how that goes. And then maybe next year or even the year after that, I'll use the eye hook technique that I saw at the Botanical Garden, which I just thought was absolutely genius. And they didn't even use it for roses. It was literally just a post in the middle of a garden bed, and then some type of climber, I don't remember what it was, but some type of climber, and then it was climbing up that post, and it just gave such beautiful vertical interest. And it was genius. It was really, really cool to see. That's why I love going to botanical gardens, because you can get so much inspiration. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to see if I can start working on training these guys up the post, getting them a little bit neater, and really working on my pathways again, just like I worked on yesterday, just kind of getting me some more space so I don't get poked by the thorns when I walk through here. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how far I got today with training the roses. Now, again, this is just training. This is like mid-season training. I'm not really focusing on main canes. I'm not really focusing on particular pruning at this point. That we actually do that in January. That's when we focus on like the real pruning for our climbing roses and roses. This is just getting everything up, letting everything continue to grow so that we can see which canes are going to be the main canes next year, that we can really train, or I can really train up these posts. So I think this is good. I could just keep going and going and going, but I think this is good for right now. I wanted to show you guys my Crown Princess Margareta rose over here. It's looking fabulous. It's looking so good. I was a little worried about this rose because it took a while to get started, like to get going, but now it's looking really good. You can see my main canes are growing up the side of my office right here, and eventually I'm going to climb or train it so it goes up the eave of my office just like that. And then all this is new growth. So I'm letting these grow to see if one of these start going nuts and I can start training those up with the other ones. But this is really good rose. I'm happy about that. And then my Gertrude Jekyll over there is fantastic, except for she's incredibly thorny, so I kind of avoid her as much as possible. But anyway, it is looking really good. I'm very happy with it. The ones that are the most behind are these Impressionist roses right here, and these are actually from heirloomroses.com, and this is totally normal because heirloomroses.com has they do their own rootstock, basically. They don't graft it. They do own rootstock, and they usually take a little bit longer to get established. So basically, if you plant one of the heirloom roses, the first year, maybe the first 2 years, it's going to look behind compared to your other roses. But then all of a sudden, it's just going to shoot off, and it's just going to go nuts, absolutely nuts, as compared to iceberg roses or something else that will grow quicker, faster. I wanted to show you guys this bed because look at how beautiful this bed looks. This looks so good. I love this combination. This was a successful combination. This is meteor shower verbena in the middle, and then I did white angelonia all around, and then sparkling amethyst verbena. I would totally recommend this combination. Another one that's really pretty is this one over here. This is the Lemon Tart Lantana and the New Dawn James Britannia. These two work really well together if you want a little bit brighter look as well. I wanted to show off this. Sadie, I can't find her right now. I think she went inside to take a shower, but she was working out front while I was working in the back, and she was mulching this whole area, and it just looks great. Fresh mulch just can really make a huge difference. So she did a great job. Thank you to her. How are you? Huh? So I actually did a garden tour yesterday that you guys are not going to see until August because of this 30-day challenge, but it was such a fantastic garden tour. And the woman whose garden, she had it was like a chicken, bunny, duck castle. It was absolutely amazing. And she had all her chickens with bunnies, with ducks. And that is my dream. And I told Sadie about it, and we are like obsessed now. So it was absolutely the cutest thing. So stay tuned for that garden tour video. Again, that's not going to be till August, but it was just so fantastic. So our bunnies haven't met these chickens yet. And what Sadie's going to do is she's going to come sit out here with the bunnies, and kind of supervise and see how they do, and maybe have them out here for like 20 minutes to start off with, and see how they handle each other. But the goal is I would love for them to coexist, because this woman, oh my goodness, it was literally like Snow White heaven, like like all my dreams came true. What you doing, June? What you doing, June? You hanging out? What was that? So the last thing I want to do today is I want to plant, and I am planting actually over by the chicken coop. This is such a work in progress. Like there's a lot of plans, but again, money, right? We will get there, but I still want to plant this plant because I want to get it out of my plant stash. It's getting a little bit scorched by the sun over in my plant storage area, and so I want to get it in the ground so it can start growing. This is a new one. Actually, it's coming to garden centers next year for proven winners. It's called High Five Green Fingers. I'll put a screenshot on the screen right now. So it's called High Five Green Fingers. It's a Fatsia, not a Fatsia japonica, it's a Fatsia polycarpa. And I don't really know the difference between the two, but I will look it up. It gets 4 to 6 feet tall, 3 to 5 feet wide, hardy zones 8 through 10. And the cool thing about this one is normally Fatsias have a lot like thicker leaves, and these are very lobed. See how it like goes in a lot? So it mimics fingers, which I thought was really cool. So I just looked up the difference between Fatsia polycarpa and Fatsia japonica. Japonica is known for having broader leaves, not as lobed leaves, and polycarpa has more lobed leaves. Japonica is more cold hardy than polycarpa, and I think japonica gets a little bit bigger as well. And this one is native to Taiwan, and japonica is obviously native to Japan. So it's just an interesting variety for a Fatsia. I think they're really cool. This is a really great plant for shaded areas, woodland areas. It's just, it does really, really well if you live in the higher zones 8 through 10. It's a really common plant that we have around here. Actually, I should say Fatsia japonica is a really common plant. I've actually never seen Fatsia polycarpa around here. So that'll be fun. I am planning to plant it over here in this woodland area next to the chicken coop right there. I have a spot right there that I want to kind of put it in. I am going to be taking this lilac out because it just is not, it's not blooming at all. I got one little bloom right here. Lilacs are hard because we're so hot here. It needs a little bit more shade, but then it needs sun to bloom. So it's just, they're just not great for here. So I'll probably take that out and give it to someone else. And eventually I do want to put like a red Japanese maple here. Michael Glassman and I were talking about putting a Japanese maple collection over here. So I think I'm going to replace it with red, and then to have this guy behind it, I think will be really, really pretty. So anyway, I'm going to be putting it right there. Out of batteries. Bummer. So I don't know if y'all can see, but we've actually added compost to this area, a couple inches of compost, and you can see it's starting to work its way down into the native soil, the soil that was here before, and it's looking really good. Big improvement from when I first started working in here, but if you go deep down, you can see there's still some work to do, which is just going to take time. But that's the no-till method, is it just takes a little bit longer, but it's amazing. It makes such a huge, huge difference to soil. Because when I planted these, the hostas and the lilac, I could barely get through the ground. It was so horrible. And this is significantly better. After only 3 years. Actually, I don't even know when I planted in here. It might have been 2 years ago. Go. This is going to be much happier here rather than sitting in the plant stash. Okay, so I think that's going to be it for the garden today, but I'm pretty happy with what I got done. Now I'm in my office and I wanted to answer some more questions, right? But these questions are kind of funny. They're just like, where did I get this? What do I use for this? What do I use for that? So just real quick, let me answer them. They're just questions from today's video that you guys are seeing today. Susan asks, what kind of blower do you use? I need one as mine is electric and I want a battery powered one that's powerful. I use the Ryobi one. We use a lot of Ryobi stuff because you can get that from Home Depot, and Home Depot is close by to us. But there's 2 different levels for the for the Ryobi blower, and we got the higher level. We used to have the lower one and we got the higher one, which is more expensive, but 1,000% worth it. And I almost wish I had even a stronger one, but I don't want a gas powered blower. So it's Ryobi. Then Joe asks, where do I get my long striped shirts? I mean, this one isn't striped, but pretty much any long gardening shirt, Amazon. They're just easy. And it's always the Amazon basics. I really like just the plain Amazon basics because I ruin them so fast. So they're just really easy right off Amazon. And then someone else said, I noticed you have a blue and white pop-up umbrella. I need this for shade while gardening. Yes, you do. I also got that from Amazon. I'm so sorry, you guys. I will try and remember I will try and link these today. I promise I will link these today. How about that? And then finally, Annette says, I'm looking at hats and I love the one you wear, but I have to get my hair off my neck. I see today you have a hat with no top so you can put your hair up and the brim is still wide. Where did you find your hat? I talked about this in another video a couple days ago. That was from Hemlock Hat Company, but I just looked at it and it looks like it's sold out. So get your name on the list or something like that. But I love that hat. It's right here. I love this hat. This hat is fantastic. So Hemlock Hat Company for sure. And then one more question. Could you please share more about your electric trimmer from Leilani? I'm curious about when you choose to use it and suggested brands. Do you have a linked list of all your tools? If not, that would be something great to have. I used to have a linked list of all my tools in my Amazon store. I think there's a list. And I have done videos on tools. I should do another video on my tools. But I think you're talking about my electric trimmer. That one is, what brand is that? Oh my gosh, what brand? Craftsman. That's a Craftsman one, but a lot of people have different ones. Gold. I mean, Leilani, that electric trimmer or the battery powered trimmer is gold. I always get it out when I was trimming the orange tree in yesterday's video, and it was just too much for my pruners, and it was too hard to get my pruners through those big branches. So I always pull out my electric trimmer, and then I just find myself using it for repetitive trimming as well, because it's easier for me just to hit the trigger rather than continually going like this with my pruners. You do have to be careful. It is a little heavy to hold it in your hand, but to me, it's just one of my absolute favorite tools, and I use it all the time. No, did I say Craftsman? It's a Craftsman battery powered trimmer. I got it as a gift from one of my master gardener friends, and it was absolutely fantastic. So anyway, that is it for today. We are on. Did I even say what day this was? I am so out of it, you guys, and I think I know why. I went wine tasting yesterday. So yeah, I think that might have something to do with it. You might need to go drink some water and have some healthy food. So I hope you all enjoyed this. And I will see you tomorrow for day 9. Until then, I hope you have a chance to get in your garden today.